Bitcoin is yet again on the precipice of a major move as daily volatility represented by the BBWP indicator right here is at extreme lows for the first time since actually October, the late October, beginning of the prior rally. So this is a signal that Bitcoin is very likely to break the range early this week, maybe even today, as we'll be getting into in today's video. We'll also go over kind of, objective signals that would identify if Bitcoin is likely to use this fuel as a massive breakout into the deep six-digit territories, and then also we'll go over the conditions for a bit of a pullback, because there is actually a very nuanced interpretation of kind of what's going on right now for this particular day. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it, starting off with some daily price statistics. We can see that Monday is actually one of the most likely to close positively days for Bitcoin since 2024 began. In fact, it is the highest probability of any weekday to close positively, and it also has the highest positive return. So it is quote unquote the most bullish day, meaning that if Bitcoin is going to break out, today would be a damn good day to do that, as we do see that the average percent gain on those positive closing Mondays is over 3.5%, and the average loss for those negative closing Mondays, which was almost 42% of all Mondays. So this is like not a 100% thing, but we can come up with ranges for this. Anyways, that is a little bit over 2.25%. For reference, from today's open, we've already seen that 2.25% move play out to the downside. If you are looking for that average return to get hit, meaning that if Bitcoin really starts to trade below today's low, probably a good indication that we are going to see, an actual short-term reversal right here. By the same token, as long as Bitcoin does hold above there, there is potential for Bitcoin to actually make new all-time highs today. The average return for, again, those positive closing Mondays is 3.5%, which would put Bitcoin at almost $105,000. And at that point, I think Bitcoin just, probably just explodes from there, honestly, into the 110 zones. Of course, because it is Monday, we do have the Monday strategy fired up and going as well here, using the Quant Prime service in the background to kind of derive these statistics. It's a very simple strategy. It's the most simple strategy. I'm not saying this is a great strategy, but it's a good sort of guideline to maybe take into account when you're doing your own analysis, or your own trading. But this strategy right here is just testing over the last 10 years of history for Bitcoin. What would happen if you longed at the start of Monday at 00 UTC and then closed that long at 10 a.m. UTC on the following day, Tuesday? And if you go back in the past 10 years, and we can actually go throughout the full history, it is even better than this, obviously, but those early years are super exaggerated. We do see that Monday, playing out that strategy has yielded, positive results over time. It, however, doesn't have a super high strike rate. It's just under 52%, so nearly a coin flip, and the profit factor actually quite agreeable there as well. In fact, the average winning trade, about 3.5%, very in alignment with those Monday statistics. So going back into it right here, we should know that the last two of these trades have actually been losses. Again, don't want to get into gambler's fallacy, but 2 losses, just had, to be fair, it actually did have 4 wins before that, before the last prior loss. So, is it possible that this could happen? Yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing. If Bitcoin is going to indeed bust to the upside, we probably don't expect it to go too much lower than what it's already done today, actually. If that starts to happen, then I would really consider a lot of the things that I'm going to bring up right here. So this is for that sort of opposing view. As of right now, the daily time frame, I made a Twitter post about this, but it's actually going to be outdated, perhaps. But basically, the daily time frame right here for daily RSI is in the process of potentially making a local high, which would initiate regular bearish divergence right here. Now, the indicator itself is not showing this potential because it's not there just yet. If Bitcoin comes back down to today's lows, it will. And of course, if Bitcoin closed below, especially yesterday's low, then that will certainly confirm this as a local high. And at least, I shouldn't say at least, but extremely likely we see at minimum a pullback down to about 95,500, with potential for lower as well. But I'd still take it one step at a time. But at least 95.5, and then re-look at things, if and when that does happen. But again, with volatility this low, we do expect a resolution of this formation very likely, extremely likely this week, probably even today or tomorrow. So So bulls are kind of on a ticking time bomb right here. You can see that there are certainly some things in in their favor, but not only do we have potential for regular bearish divergence. Again, this is not confirmed just yet. If those conditions that we laid out earlier, it will be. But another condition to be aware of over here. Wait, just drawing damn lines. Is that the daily stochastic oscillator, while it has been playing off of this regression and did actually fulfill the pivot of yesterday's video as well, it is once again in jeopardy here. As we do see that the current level to maintain, the current number of price to maintain this current level of momentum is $101,255. It's a crazy number to say after like double check that a few times. Like, what the fuck? There's 6 digits now? That's crazy. But yeah, if Bitcoin does close below there, probably an early indication that this regression will break, and we will see obviously something else new going on. And if something else new is going on, and the prior thing that was going on was all of these marking off these major higher lows, then would really have to entertain the possibility of perhaps even a deeper pullback. I guess at that point, my personal opinion, however, is that I'm still going to be biased towards the upside until these things are 100% verified, which could happen by the end of today. Again, daily closure below yesterday's low, that is the most obvious one. Yesterday's low, by the way, is 98,750. And also, if Bitcoin were to close above there, but close below this pivot right here, I'd say that's still in limbo. But if you see both of these things at the same time, which naturally this one will follow the other one, then very likely we do play at a bit of a pullback and go back to the drawing board. Anyways, I did want to also revisit this setup as well. If you were on this channel for the past few months, you've seen me bring this one up. It's a very simple setup as well. Again, using the Quant Prime service right here to set this one up for the 5-day time frame, just using the 5 exponential, this red moving average, to govern entries and exits. If Bitcoin closes above, enter, and when Bitcoin closes below, exit. And when we look at the full results of history over Bitcoin's full history here, we have over 100 trades. We have a very high profit factor. Again, these early trades were doing significant amounts of numbers. And in the percent profitable, around almost 40%. So this last one did fire off at 63 or under $63,000. So this one has been valid for quite some time. To put a number on that, it has been valid for working on 65 days as of tomorrow's closure. Why am I bringing that up? Because if we go into the performance summary right here, we can actually look at the average amount of bars and winning trades that it typically has. My cursor is on it right now, although my head is hiding the criteria name, but it is 10 bars. 10 bars. 10 bars is 50 days. We are currently at day number 65. So is it likely that Bitcoin, this could trade a bit sideways and down? Yeah, I suppose so. I could also argue a pretty good counterpoint to this one as well, in the sense that the last couple big trades that we've seen, which this one is obviously a big trade as well, these did go over the average amount of days as well. In fact, we can see this first one right here, or this more recent one right here from January of this past year. This one was 75 days from open to close, and a pretty massive gain there as well. Over here, this one was an 85 day hold for this trade, and did produce about 50%. This one over here was about a little over 50%. I think it was like 52 or 53. Again, for reference, our current run is 65 days in, so it's getting quite close to those. And in terms of percentage gain, we've actually seen a higher percentage gain than both of those prior ones already. So, is this an indication that Bitcoin is probably going to end this trade relatively soon? I mean, usually it is. But of course, it would not officially close this trade until Bitcoin closes a 5-day time frame, which closes actually tomorrow night, below $95,000. Yeah, so Bitcoin could play at a correction down there, still bounce, I guess. But, bigger problems do start to happen below that reach. Not to say that like Bitcoin can't reclaim it on the next one. That can definitely happen, but you're probably going to be looking at more prolonged consolidation if that were to happen. That's just my personal opinion. Last, we'll go over actually a couple of other corollaries in the market. We've been looking at Ethereum, we've been looking at Solana, we've been looking at XRP a lot recently, and we've been saying, hey, these things are setting up for pullbacks, even though long term still bullish. Again, still bullish long term. But when we go over here, where's my XRPP? This one again, is completing a nice top right here. I'm not saying that it's going to go down for forever. No, I don't think so. I think the pullback is likely an opportunity, but in this case, we can see again the double extreme BBWP read right here matched with momentum turning down. That's an extremely useful counter trend signal. In this case, that would obviously mean downside. So this one probably does come down again. As long as daily momentum's to the downside, which will be true as long as this thing's below 250, that is going to be quite likely to see this one come down, maybe even all the way down to like $2 again. Of course, we go over here to Ethereum, same thing. Long term, again, good. But these pullbacks from retests of prior major highs are very common things. And this one, is putting in some bearish evidence on the daily stochastic oscillator and is seeing momentum turn down. Could easily come back down to like 3,700. Wouldn't really mean all that much, but this all very likely depends on whatever the fuck Bitcoin does today. The most obvious signal for Bitcoin would be Bitcoin closing above 101,250. If you see that, expect not just for Bitcoin to work its way into like, 103, 104, 105, you're probably going to see Bitcoin move into the 110s region. But if Bitcoin does close below yesterday's low, I'd expect everything to essentially have a decent pullback. So we're kind of at a turning point right here for the more short term / medium term. Again, personally, I remain bullish for right now, just because trend. I always favor that. But this potentially could change around again if we see it's a big if we see the conditions laid out earlier, namely Bitcoin closing below yesterday's low, happen or get verified. Other than that, do I have anything to end on right here? This video has already been probably too long, so that's all good. But yeah, we can show off no, this is not what I wanted to show off. Let me show off the quantum bands right here, the quantum wave bands. Again, I think that is just kind of a good idea to continue to check in on these things, as time goes on, and just see what the results are so that people can make the best decisions for themselves. But see what the hourly says right here. Maybe there's been no trades at all. Let's see. Nice bullish engulfing dildo on the hourly as of right now with 9 minutes left to go. By the way, short term might be a bit of an opportunity. Again, yeah, last trade was a small loss right here after a pretty massive gain. 30-minute time frame. Do we have any recent trades? We had a small gainer right here, but nothing since then. So we go back to the drawing board. We'll wait for tomorrow. Again, the big pivots for Bitcoin, yesterday's low. And well, if Bitcoin can especially close today above 101,250, I'd look at that as the green light for this volatility expansion to result in a nice volatility explosion with upside prices yet again. Anyways, as always, I'd like to wish you the best. I want to apologize if this video is in 360p. I apologize profusely for such things, but unfortunately, I have no control over it, actually. YouTube has just been super long with, I don't know, what's it called, processing times for the last couple of days, so hopefully that gets fixed. Other than that, if you find this content valuable, or if you even just hate it, consider liking and subscribing because, well, you should, or you should not. That is a question that only you can answer, and I'll leave you on that note. See you next time.